Okay, third try. I am Rebecca. This is the Mean Girls Knit podcast, but I just wanted to do a really quick video about the Vulkan sweater that I knit with my Advent. There's a lot of interest in it, and I wanted to talk about it. And I didn't do a very good job explaining it. I just was like, hey, this is DK. I made it with my Advent, and there's alpaca in it. I didn't know what I was doing. So I just wanted to briefly go over it because there was a lot of interest in it, and I wanted people to know what they're getting into based on my experience. You'll probably have a different one because you're probably a better knitter than me. So I am just kind of like fly by the seat of my pants, whatever. So I had a 24 DK minis. They were 20 grams each. And I wanted to make this sweater. It calls for a variety of yarns and a variety of holding them together for different gauges. Sport, I think, is one of them. I don't know. I just went with mohair lace and then some alpaca worsted, all of it from Knit Picks. So the theme of the Advent was Never Ending Story, and I was like, well, no, it wasn't. It was the Princess Bride. And I was like, hey, I think it was Never Ending Story, which is a movie that I don't like. And I don't like Princess Bride either. And I know that people are always like, oh, you don't like Princess Bride. I like the part all the way until they roll down the hill, and for me, that's the end of the movie. Like, they got back together and it's totally fine. Spoiler. And I don't like the rest of the movie. I've never even seen it. Like, I genuinely thought that's how it ended. So anyway, I figured that's probably going to be a lot of creams and browns. And so I went ahead and I bought the mohair first, just hoping that I was right. So I got purple, I got a gray. I think I bought another color just in case. And then I got some white alpaca. Did I say that? I've recorded this like 3 times, so I don't know what I've said. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys in more detail. So here the sweater is. It's got a short row shaping in the back, which is really nice. I appreciate that about it. And so I just did color 1, and then I think there's some mohair here. I can't really see in the thing. Ribbing. There's just so many stitches and it's so fun. And then you pick up all the stitches and you do this cable. Now, even with 20 grams, I didn't have enough to do the entire cable. And so you can see that I had to switch colors, which is fine because in the original pattern, it's like that. But there's definitely, I can't see in the back. See, you can see kind of now that there's definitely like a split in the back. And the back is the beginning of each round. And so I have this jogs because I don't actually know how to do jogless joins. And now that I said that, I'm sure that everybody is going to link me videos, but I actually don't care. I am fine with jogs in my thing. If I wanted to, I'm sure I could have looked up videos. I don't care that much. And so you can see that it's just, this was supposed to be something patterned and I forgot because I'm me. And then you can see that obviously there's some ribbing, some more stuff, and there's like purl rows, and I just did that with alpaca. Yeah, so there's this mohair right here, just some lavender mohair, which comes to a really awkward spot on my body. So gotta wear something underneath it, which is fine. You know, who doesn't wear something underneath their sweaters, right? Okay, so anyway, there is some mohair lace that's really pretty, I think, on both sleeves. It calls for that. I didn't run out of any yarn. It actually calls for a lot more yarn than it was. I bought 2 skeins of the alpaca worsted because I thought I was going to need that much. And I bought 3 skeins of mohair. I don't know. I thought it was going to be a lot, and it ended up not being that. The thing that I don't like about it the most, okay, is that it's really cropped. I didn't try this on at all. And so I didn't even measure it. I just followed the pattern. And so it's about 15 inches. But I have a long torso, so for me, I usually knit to 17 inches just so that it's, you know, falls at a place that I like. The other thing that I didn't consider is that when I raise my arms, you can definitely see a lot. So this is not an arm raising sweater, but I wanted to get close so you can kind of see there's seed stitch. This was supposed to be a different pattern, I think. My favorite was this drop stitch. This would look probably a lot better if I blocked it. Maybe it'd be longer if I blocked it. I'm not going to wear it. So it's got this really cool thing, like drop stitch right here. Oh my God, that was my knee. And it's variegated, and that just worked out. So I did not care what the yarn was. I just followed the pattern. And so there's some color work in here where I just did it. It didn't matter to me if it was going to look good. It's got cables. Oh my gosh, it's got everything. It's got lace, it's got cables, it's got seed stitch, it's got everything. And you don't have to do any of it if you don't want, like, well, obviously you have to do some of it because otherwise you wouldn't have a sweater. But I just love this so freaking much. And I never even realized that it like actually striped pretty well. Not perfectly, but that's probably just me. I think there's some bobbles in it. Like, it is just, it's beautiful. I love this sweater so much, but I'm not gonna wear it. It just isn't my colors, and I don't think it looks that great. Oh, the other thing I was gonna say is that kind of like makes your arms a little, it might look better with blocking, but it kind of does this silhouette with your arms, which is a little sketch for me personally. I don't have a problem with my arms. I just think that the silhouette is a little weird. I did knit the sweater in December, and I weighed about 30 pounds more. So I don't think that this would have fit me when I knit it. So, and I think that's my fault because I don't measure myself, and I had a really rough summer where I was drinking like 56 drinks a week, which is a lot. I don't drink, I'm sober. But I was drinking a lot and I gained a lot of weight, but I always think of myself as smaller because I have knit a size 34 for years. And so, trying to look at the camera. And so I think I just knit a size 34 and hope for the best, but I'm actually kind of glad that I waited to try it on because I think that I would have been pretty sad. It looked a lot smaller than me when I actually started knitting it, but it worked out okay. And I did have a lot left over. I think that this would work out really well for a lot of sizes, and obviously you could just substitute things. But I think that 20 grams of DK, 24 skein, I'm not going to do the math, but I think that ends up being a lot. Plus you have all the alpaca and the mohair sections. Oh my god. And the lace was really easy, really basic lace. So I was able to do like, you know, this and then like all of this because you have to do all those pearl bumps, but only a little bit a day. This was really easy to finish in 24 days. What else? I don't know, I just think it's really fun. I did not weave in any ends. I just kind of shoved them inside for this because I felt like when I showed it on the podcast, it was really distracting to have all of those ends hanging out. And I wanted to give you guys a better view of the sweater without the ends hanging out, obviously. So there's not a whole lot left to say about it. It's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I love it, and I would like to knit it again, but in a different palette. Maybe not as scrappy, maybe like pinks, that's my favorite color, or blacks and grays. I think that could be cute too. I really like the fact that this turned out gray right here and a little bit of pink right here. I feel like that is definitely more me than, you know, the brown. That would have been kind of depressing for me personally. I don't really dig brown. It's not my favorite, but oh my gosh, you guys, I think this is such a fun pattern, and I'm sorry, I am like the biggest gatekeeper of cool patterns that I find for Advent. I don't mind sharing them after the fact, but I like keeping it to myself and then being done and being like, look at my Advent sweater, look what I found. And then obviously I don't mind if other people, I don't mind if they do. Of course I don't mind if they do because it's their life and, you know, whatever. But for a while, I like keeping it a secret. And maybe that's a toxic trait of mine. Sorry. But I like having something fun. And obviously I do socks and stuff that everybody else does, but I like having at least one thing that I can be like, hey, look at this cool pattern for next year for you guys, if that's something you're interested in. I'm sorry, I'm a bad person. Okay, I actually have another project that I'm doing right now that I'm keeping quiet because I want to have something to show on our next podcast. Actually, we're thinking about doing a Stephen West showcase, where instead of showing our whips and our finished objects and whatever we're knitting, we just go and get all of our Stephen West stuff and share all of the patterns and everything. And I think that would be really fun and a lot less pressure. Stephanie has a lot less knitting time than I do, and so she doesn't really finish very much lately. And I think that it would be really fun to, and you would think that we knit all the same Stephen West patterns, and we actually don't. She's knit a bunch of stuff that I've never made. I think it'll be fun. I'm not gonna sit here and it doesn't matter. Obviously, I'm not good at but you guys keep coming back, so I can't be that bad at it, right? Okay, so You can obviously, if you don't like doing seed stitch, I think this was slip stitches with the mohair. Do you see? Like, oh, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. Like, just substitute in anything you want. You could do the whole thing in stockinette if you really wanted to. But I thought it was so fun to have something different to do every single day. So yeah, this is the Vulkan sweater. I don't remember who made it, but it's Vulkan, and I linked it in the last show notes, and I'll link it again down below. I just stumbled upon this randomly when I was looking for advent patterns, so please don't hate me for not sharing right away. I just like having one-of-a-kind things. Like, it's really important to me that when I'm knitting, that I have one-of-a-kind things. I never buy kits. I never use the suggested yarn, because if I wanted the same thing everybody else has, I could go to the store and buy that and I'd have the same thing. And obviously I know that when people say, oh, I could buy that at the store, obviously handmade and wool is better, or, you know, animal fibers is better quality. But for me, knitting is more of an expression and an art form, and having one-of-a-kind unique things. Even if I never wear them, I just like one-of-a-kind things. So that is it. I'm gonna keep this kind of short. It's really not that short if you consider my last video was 45 minutes. Okay, so this is it. I hope that I explained it well. If you have any questions, I would totally answer those. Obviously, you can leave those in the comments, or if you just want to message me on Instagram, I'm heyitsrebeccah with an H, and I would love to answer any of those questions, or actually just talk about anything. I'll answer. I'm pretty good about it, I think. Okay, anyway. Oh, I always suck at ending these. There you go, the Vulkan sweater. I hope that. Okay, I'm gonna end it. Okay, I will hopefully do another podcast soon, and I will see you guys later. Bye.